And we're live for another Friday night Pint Live. The dynamic trio this week. Scott is back off his holidays looking darker than ever. We had a good show, just me and Ryan. It was just the two of us. And now we've got a third wheel back. Scott.
Yeah. Cheers, mate. Thanks for the...
No, we love you really, Scott. But yeah, Carlos Sola is the next name linked. West Ham's not done in the transfer window. Incomings, outgoings, other stuff. Bowen, captain. Mubama, for some reason, is the next City signing. All the stuff to talk about. Lads, how's it going?
Go on, Scott. Yeah, good. Look, I'm good. I'm refreshed. I've had a couple of days off work. Been up north. Had nice weather up north, which made a change. Come back and all getting ready for the big game on Saturday.
I've had a good week as well, mate. Obviously, we've done the preview during the week.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, apart from that, mate, I ain't been away. I ain't been up north. I've been at work. But yeah, nice. I'm here with me beer on Friday night pint. So yeah, looking forward to it. Looking forward to discussing.
I need to get some in.
You need to get some beers in, Dan.
Tango dark berries, sugar free.
Oh.
I'll get some in for next Friday.
But yeah, loads to talk about in the next hour and a half. So yeah, looking forward to it.
Yeah, so we've been kind of spoiled this transfer window, and people are wondering how the hell we're doing this. But yeah, apparently we're not done. Like, he wants a midfielder in, a centre midfielder. Carlos Sola from PSG seems to be the guy, which is interesting because we've got Ward-Prowse and we've got Souček, there in that role. So one of them at least is not long for this club.
Not forgetting Potsy's boy as well.
Freddie Potts. Yeah, I think Potts might probably go out on loan. Obviously, we've seen George Urphy go out on loan this week to Bristol City. Callum Marshall's gone out as well. So I think
debut as well, didn't he?
I think it's good moves for them. It gives them that bit of experience at good clubs. They'll get game time. With obviously, is it Soler? Is it Soler? I'm going to pronounce it Soler.
Solero. That'd be his nickname.
He can play on the right. He can play in the centre and midfield as well. Obviously, he hasn't. I think he's played about 50 appearances for PSG. Played most of his games at Valencia. So, if he comes in, I think you might maybe see someone like Souček go out the door, because I think with Alvarez, him, and Souček in the team. Alvarez, Rodriguez, and James Ward-Prowse, and I think there'll be too many. And if he comes in as well, and I think there are rumours that Souček might be leaving the club this window. So, yeah, I honestly don't really know too much about him, but if you can play for PSG, you've got to be half decent.
Well, yeah. To be signed for PSG, but I think he fits into a lot more of how Lopetegui wants to play. He's played in a 4-3-3 before, which I think is what Lopetegui is going to play for West Ham. And he seems to be more sort of in line with passing, quick passing, long range passing, through balls, so much more suited to the style than Souček. So there's going to be a big upgrade there, and can score goals as well. So even if you lose Souček's goal scoring ability, you're replacing it with a player that can also score goals, but can also actually pass the football, which is a big positive.
Yeah, and if he can play on the right, obviously gives cover for Bowen as well. Because we're strong down the left, but on the right we're a bit weak. Not with Bowen, obviously, of course, but any cover coming in for him. So, yeah, if we can pull it off, it'll be a decent end to the transfer window. There might even be a couple more signings, but I just hope we're not signing all these players and then there might be one maybe leaving at the end. We spoke about in the group chat. I know you ain't seen much about it, but I have heard a few rumours that maybe Kudus. And then when you think about it, we're spending all this money. If Kudus is going to go. Kudus is going to have to go for what? 100 million plus, 90 minimum. But I'd be disappointed. It'd ruin a great transfer window if we let him go. But hopefully I can't see it happening.
No, I don't see that happening at all, mate, to be honest. I think when you look at the players that we're signing, it's to build a team, and you've got to build a team around the better players. We said, I said a lot last season with Paquetá, you've got to be looking to build a team, and people were going, we should offload him for City for 85 million. You need players like him to play the ball to your Kuduses, your Bowens and all that. And again, with Kudus, I don't think we've seen the best of him. And, he's still got more to give. When you see the player that he was for Ajax, you saw flashes of it last season. It took him, he had to adapt to the Premier League, but I think this season will be his season. And I just don't see the point in signing the players we got to let him go, if you get what I mean. The players we're signing, bringing in another midfielder, is it somewhere we really need to strengthen again? Like Dan was saying, we've got Ward-Prowse, you've got Souček. I know Souček doesn't fit the possession-based football, but we know with Lopetegui, he changes his system. He sometimes looks at a 5 at the back, depending who we're playing. And I feel that Souček does fit into a certain defensive-minded side when we need to go that way. I don't expect us to go on the front foot against certain teams. I think we'll see more a pick and choose of the teams that we go at and the teams that we don't go at. And I think the shape and the team or the starting 11 will be based around that type of tactic.
But don't you think it'd be, if you sold Souček and brought that money in and you wanted to revert to a more defensive style or whatever, or go more defensive, you could play Alvarez and Rodriguez together. Do you know what I mean? 2 holding midfielders that are more, oh shit, I can not pay me electric bill. more.
Someone put 50p in the meter. 50p in the meter.
But players that are more capable on the ball. So when we are defending, we have an outlet as well.
No, I get that, mate. But
I don't think we have to sell Kudus, right? I don't think we're in that position. I think when you look at it on the surface, it's like, we've spent a lot of money. How the hell are we doing this? But it seems to be that we're using a lot of the Chelsea loopholes. So that's the reason why we're signing players on long-term contracts like Wan-Bissaka on 7 years, because then that way, when you sign a player on a longer-term contract, that the fee is spread over the length of that contract when it comes to PSR and all of that stuff. So that's why they're doing that. And it's balanced books. Then you got Todibo, who was signed on loan with an obligation to buy. So this year, it doesn't count. The was it 25, 30 million? It doesn't count as part of that fee. So it seems Steidton is working very smart to be able to maximize what we can bring in quality and be within FFP and PSR. But I think we will probably sell a few fringe. He's gonna apparently next try and move on the fringe players. I
think Cornet's been mentioned, isn't he? Danny Ings is another one who's on high wages. Unfortunately, to build and move forward, you have to get rid of these players. Danny Ings is on a lot of money. He's cost West Ham a lot of money, and in return, he's not really given us much, is he? I mean, look, it's not all on him because he wasn't given much of a chance under Moyes, but I just think with what the players that we've brought in, me and Dan spoke about it last week, most of these players that have come in are good enough to start in the starting 11, and that's what you need. Mm-hmm. And we conceded a lot of goals last year, and Lopetegui's identified that straight away and gone out and signed 3 defenders, Wan-Bissaka, Todibo and Kilman. So he's strengthened at the back.
Yeah, exactly. And like we said, that was the key factor of going into this season, was the amount of goals that we conceded. Let's be honest, watching last season, for a defensive-minded manager and a defensive-minded team, 9 times out of 10 when teams went forward against us, they looked like scoring. Do you know what I mean? And you were relying so heavy on the counter-attack. And when the counter-attack didn't pay off, you got a thumping. And that's plain and simple. As we said, you look at the Chelsea game and the Brighton game earlier in the season, where people say, we were absolutely brilliant. We defended brilliantly, but we took our chances. You know, and then you fast forward to the games like Arsenal and all that, where we defend well but don't take the chances, and we get beat. You know, and that's the risk that Moyes took. And with the defence that we had, we just shit goals left, right, and centre. And the two centre halves are going to be key this season, I think. It's just what system he plays, whether he goes for the 2 or the 3 at the back.
Yeah, and again, like you said earlier, Scott, I think it's going to depend on who we're playing of what he does. But that was, that defence last season was an absolute shambles, and that were the worst we've seen in the Premier League era, which is crazy. So major surgery needed there. And I think as well, another just on the finances, another positive of us not being in Europe, we're finding positives of not qualifying for Europe, as well. For one, the new team just focusing 1 game a week, is we're also not subject to the UEFA's FFP sort of they've got a little bit extra stringent in terms of their policies on FFP, which teams qualifying for Europe are subject to. So that's another thing we don't have to worry about that we had to worry about when we were in Europe. So hopefully we can get all of this, get set, and then qualify for Europe, and then we don't have to spend too much going forward. You know, but hopefully we can bring the wage bill down as well. Ings, we got to get rid of that guy. We have to somehow, some way, get rid of Danny Ings. He's on over $100,000 a week, for crying out loud.
And that's the problem, mate. Because of what he's on, it's going to be limited to people that are going to take him, and he's not going to want to take a pay cut.
Yeah, well, you say that, Scott. Danny Ings is coming towards the end of his career. He wants to play football, and I think that I think he would take a pay cut to leave. I don't think we might sit here and think, oh yes, it's easy for a player to sit on the bench and take $125,000 a week. But when you're at his age, he can go and play somewhere else, and he will have to take a pay cut. He has to.
Yeah, well, he needs to take a hint. That's what he needs to take. Like, if we get Duran, he's going to know, like, mate, you're nowhere near, because he wanted to fight for his place, which is admirable.
Well, we'll be linked with Tammy Abraham as well, 25 million deal. So if one of them two come in, then Danny Ings ain't got no chance of playing.
I think I'd rather keep Danny Ings because at least he'd be fit. Tammy Abraham, bloody hell, that'd be another Andy Carroll. As the player he is.
Abraham weren't as bad as Abraham's not as bad as Andy Carroll. He's had that serious injury that sort of was it right at the start of last season or right in January, halfway through the season, he had that serious knee injury. So he's still probably recovering from that. But I'll be honest, mate, I've never rated Abraham at all. So I don't think that'll be an upgrade on what we've got in Antonio or Danny Ings, to be honest. Just the fact that he's a bit younger. So look, Ings has to get off the wage bill. Ings has to go. He didn't suit Moyes. He was bought in case we got relegated. He doesn't. I don't see him fitting in this side either. If I'm being honest, even though it's funny because his better games have been playing as a number 10.
Yeah, no, he ain't got no chance this season. Everyone fully fit with Antonio, Fulkrug now, and then I think we're going to bring in another striker on loan. So he'll be out the door. Cornet as well. Now we've brought in Somerville. I just can't see him getting any game time, and you might as well get him off the books. And he's a player that I felt sorry for. I didn't think he really got a chance. I know he was out injured for a long time, but when he sat on the bench for a long time and he wasn't given enough playing time. But
look, that was nearly 10 million on those two, Ryan. Can you believe that? The money we spent on Ings and Cornet and how little they've played or made an impact or done anything. That was horrific business for the pair of them.
Yeah. It was more like panic buying, wasn't it? But we just needed some players to fill the squad up. And
Cornet was just unlucky, I think, with the injury that he got.
Cornet, when we first signed Cornet, he started the season. I remember we scored that goal at Chelsea. It was disallowed. But the first few games I see him, I thought, do you know what? He'll be a decent player for us. But then he got his injury and he was out for a long time. And then he just never really got back into the swing of things. Even like when we played in the Conference League and Europa League, he wasn't even really given a chance in them sort of games.
Yeah. And that's the thing. The only game he actually looked any decent was when he assisted for the goal against Burnley. That was it. He didn't offer much else.
Didn't he score at Sheffield United away? I'm sure he scored.
Someone know.
I'm sure Cornet scored for us last season.
He scored. I know he scored definitely. He got a few assists in the Europa League. I know that.
It was away from home, and I'm sure it was Sheffield United. Someone correct me if I'm wrong. I think that's the game when we drew 2-2 when they equalised in the 96th minute or something.
It might have been ruled out offside. That's very much right.
Yeah, he scored against Sheffield United.
Oh, he did.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, see, my memory's not that bad. I can put that in the same bracket as when Dan see what's his name score at Dagenham and
Redbridge. Yeah, fucking Hugill. We've honestly, we spent about 12 million on him. You know, Moyes, he hasn't got the best track record with strikers at this club. But yeah, new era. Let's hope Lopetegui's got the whole club haven't got a good track record.
I mean, I don't know if did you see the video that was released by the club earlier of Lopetegui in the stadium talking about
that was a good video.
Yeah, I just love the way he comes across. Even like the videos that he'd done during the week, like when him and Danny Dyer and he was taking the mickey out of it, and you know, he comes across as a really, really like down to earth, nice person. I mean, he looks like you wouldn't want to get on the wrong side of him either, but it's just nice to have that. He seems laid back. He reminds me a bit like, you know, Unai Emery, the way he comes across, you know, that laid back approach, you know, and I like that. And I think that's, I mean, look, we spoke about Moyes and what he done for the club, but it's a new era. It's a new dawn. It's a new day. We're going to watch West Ham play the Lopetegui way.
And we got Steve WHU Bell with $4.99 super chat. Thank you as always, Steve. We appreciate you, mate. He says, "Let's hope we hit the ground running, lads. Let's hope so, mate. Let's bloody hope so. That's what we need. Bit of positivity." Stevie Ray says, "I don't think we need to make a big sale this window. Books are balanced. Just need some room in the squad." Yeah, completely agree. We end up like Chelsea with having to get a double-decker bloody bus just to get to the game.
Did you see that? I forgot to screenshot it yesterday. Did you see that league table that come out of the top English clubs spend of all time? And we was like, Chelsea were obviously number one, and then I think we were about 8th, and then I think it was either just above us. We spent like 1.6 billion or something like that. And then just above us was Chelsea again, just under Todd Bowley. That's what they've spent.
He spent more in the few years than we've spent in our entire existence.
Yeah. And Chelsea are on that list twice, but Todd Bowley's, since he's been there, has spent more than. Like, I was looking at it thinking, no, that's not possible. But then you look back at what they've signed, and it's crazy the amount of money. And I think that's how many goals they scored, 1.3 between them.
Yeah.
We've had some shocking strikers under Sullivan and obviously Gold.
I don't know what this is in reference to, but Nick says, "Agree, Dan. Bloody hell, that's a first." I don't know what he agrees with me with.
It was earlier on when I can't remember what you said, but you said something in there. Yeah, I thought I'd have to start that one because it ain't often Nick agrees with you.
Yeah, I'll frame it. I'll frame that. We're not in Europe, but we're attracting decent players because of players like Kudus and Paqueta and Steidton. Having someone like Steidton rather than Sullivan going in and selling the players on the project, someone professional knows what he's doing. That's paid dividends. That is huge, I think. Without him, I don't think we get some of these players. You know,
I totally agree. He's probably been our best sign in the last few years, Tim Steidton, because he's just
better than Husilos. Remember when Nicky called him the signing of the season? He predicted that Husilos would be the signing of the season.
Oh yeah.
Because of the players he was going to bring in. That is one of the best when we reacted to that.
He's working wonders at the club at the moment, and everything, as we said last week, Dan. There's just a big positivity around the fan base at the moment. It's nice to see. Like, you go on Twitter and it's 99.9% positive. You know, you don't see many people moaning. I mean, that could change at 7:30 tomorrow night if we lose.
Yeah.
I just think it's nice that we're going into the season, first game, and there's so much positivity around the club, especially the fan base.
Yeah, that's why I did a video on my channel talking about that, the positivity around the club and the kind of way that's at risk with this result. Like if we had a bad loss, with the way a lot of fans are losing that and people just losing their heads, if we got battered, that's what I'm worried about, of losing that positivity and that feel good factor. I think it doesn't matter. Like if that happens, it doesn't define the season.
But I think I agree, mate. I think Lopetegui, like I know we've made all the signings, but these signings got to be bedding in as well. And you got to give him at least the first 10 games to sort of get how he wants to play. And look, we've got to pick results up, but we can't lose the first 10 games because then it would be Dan to be getting the Ronald de Boer book out and showing us what he's done at Palace. But it'd be nice to get off to a great start tomorrow. But look, Villa are a good team. Villa have built a good team. Yeah. One player that won't be featuring tomorrow for Villa is Cameron Archer. He signed from in the summer and they've just sold him today for 15 million to Southampton.
Mental, isn't it?
They signed him on a free and sold him for 15 million today. That's got to be the best bit of business I've ever seen.
There's some money laundering going on there. There's something dodgy about the way Villa
he got released from, I think it was Sheffield United. He used to play for Villa. And I think he got released. They signed him on a free and then they sold him to Southampton today for 15 million.
Southampton have got to be the biggest mugs going. What a bunch of mugs. Like, honestly.
They could have got him for free. They could have got him for free.
Out of principle, I wouldn't sign him. Even if I wanted him, I would. Just out of principle, I wouldn't do that deal because they got him for free. I'd let them keep him. Trini Hammer says, if Ings has a year left, we should terminate and cut our losses. Not sure how long he has left on his contract.
That is the rumour that they're talking about doing. It's sort of like what they've done with Zuma. Just offering to cancel his contract and let him go on a free. So he gets.
Yeah, I think we'd have to get him to do a deal with him and have a settlement of going, listen, we'll pay you this percentage of your contract. Then you can go to another club, get a signing on fee.
That's it.
Blah blah blah.
Yeah, it's just basically letting him go on a free transfer, isn't it? When you think about it.
Yeah. And El Chico chimes in with, he rejected a move to Saints, who he played his best ever football at. Clearly, it's not about starting games. Yeah, exactly. He said he wanted to fight for his place at West Ham, but he hasn't got a place to fight for, as far as I'm concerned.
I think that's a modern day footballer saying, "I don't want to lose out on my money."
Yes, because he knows Southampton ain't going to pay him what we're paying him. No.
Exactly.
Chance. Exactly. Like we are such mugs. Like not only did we pay 15 million for him, we made him one of our highest paid players.
So apparently Villa had a buyback obligation if Sheffield United got relegated.
Oh right. So it did look dodgy, but I just thought we was talking about it in the Villa preview the other night, and we were saying about him, and then obviously because he only went back there in the summer, and then he's gone today. But fair play.
Yeah, it was effectively a loan unless Sheffield United stayed up. That's what Will Morris has said.
Right.
I tell you what, Southampton. You talk about Southampton. Ipswich have done some good business in the past couple of days. Obviously, Kalvin Phillips has gone there on loan for the season.
Yeah, that's an interesting one to talk about. Yeah, what do you make of that?
They also signed that Blackburn striker today, the one that supports West Ham. I can't pronounce his surname, but I think he scored quite a few goals for them. And they're also looking at bringing Brozier in as well from Chelsea on loan. So they're doing a bit of good business.
Yeah, I mean, I hope they stay up. But yeah, Phillips, I hope it works out for him. He just didn't come here to West Ham fit. I don't think he had the right mentality or he was all right upstairs. Everything just seemed wrong about that move. And I think there's a good player in there.
Oh, yeah. Look, I think the thing is with Kalvin Phillips is that he joined us. He hadn't played for a long time. He joined in January. You're never going to get up to fitness.
We just hoped it'd be another Lingard, though.
I mean, look, sometimes players like Phillips, he's earned a lot of money at City, say set for life. Now it's just about him finding the right club, settling in, a bit like what Lingard done with us. I know it didn't work out in the end, but sometimes players just need that. And I think going to Ipswich, out the limelight, he'll get his head down there. It's a good football club. They're going to have some good moments this season. They're going to have some bad moments. It's hard for newly promoted teams to stay up in the first season. But with what Ipswich are doing, I think it'd be a good move for him. And I'm the same. I wish him well. I've got no hatred towards him. I felt sorry for him sometimes, especially last season when we played Newcastle away and he gave away that penalty when he was just clearing the ball. And I thought,
that was ridiculous. That decision.
and I just thought it's never going to work out for him at West Ham.
He didn't do himself any favours though when it was. I think it was when Palace battered us or whatever. He liked one of their posts on Instagram and that, and it's just like that was the wrong time for that. Did not ingratiate himself with
and he also when he got on a coach and he put the middle finger up to one of our fans. Yeah, it was never going to work out for him at West Ham, but I've got no hatred towards him. I wish him well.
The thing is, as well, like, you know, like, you all know my feelings on Phillips and how overrated he is, but Moyes threw him under the bus in a way by shoving him straight in a team, and then putting that ridiculous team out and playing Ward-Prowse as a left winger and then moving Phillips out and a left winger. The guy's played no football. You know, he wasn't going to be a Jesse Lingard. It was never going to be like that. He had a completely different style of play, and not playing games the way he plays football doesn't benefit him.
Didn't he give away a penalty? He gave away a penalty 2 minutes into his debut, didn't he, against Bournemouth?
That's it. And that's the thing. He just Moyes, for as much as I don't like him as a player, Moyes threw him under the bus.
Yeah.
Massively.
And wasted more money because we paid like 7 million pound loan fee as more money.
It was the one position we didn't need a player at the time, and he went and got him. You know, and that just sums up the end of Moyes' reign for me.
Well, he wanted to spend about 70 mil for him, wasn't it? We remember a January transfer window. We bid about 60, 70 mil for him, which got rejected.
He definitely weren't worth that.
No, that's it. But we absolutely.
You watch Ipswich beat us now, and he gets man of the match.
Yeah. This is his last chance, I think.
I've actually backed Ipswich this weekend to beat Liverpool. I've got 1-0 in my thing because you always get that shock result opening day, and it'll be live on. I think are they playing them Sunday? I think, and it's the early kick or whatever. But yeah, I don't know.
It could be Fulham here. It could be Fulham beating Man United. It's still 0-0.
I think Ipswich will be all right this season, but anyway, another plan.
About me, right? Have you seen the odds on us finishing in the top 4?
Yeah, but do you know why the odds are like that now, Scott? Because when Leicester won the league, it was like 5,000 to 1. Yeah, so they don't want to make them sort of mistakes anymore. So they're always low odds.
Close, like 16, in the last few years.
16 to 1, mate. That's worth a punt.
Yeah, but did you see that? Palace have better odds of winning the league than West Ham.
Makes no sense, does it?
How does that make sense? Yeah. But we've got better odds of getting top 4 than them. We're more likely to get top 4, but they're more likely to win the league. How does that work? But definitely.
Mr. C just said that it's 12:30 tomorrow. I knew it was an early game, but I couldn't remember if it was Saturday or Sunday. But yeah, you always get them shock results opening day. Come on, Ipswich. Come on, the tractor boys.
So we've got a question from another Scott. Scott Wilson said, who do we think, boys, are going to be successful signings and who might flop because they all can't be successful because that never happens? Oh, that's a nasty question, Scott. Oh, who do we think would be successful? Who will flop?
One player that I think will do well for us is Rodriguez. You know, free transfer. I think I like the look of him. I think Somerville's going to be a good player for us as well. Tricky player, someone that we need. Ones that are going to fail, I don't know. It could be Fulkrug. It could be another Haller, Skamaka not work out for us.
I think the two most likely, if I was to say, I'm not saying they are going to flop, but the two I would, if I had to put my money on someone, it'd either be a Fulkrug because of our track record or Max Gilman. Either of those.
See, I hate to say it, so I don't want to see him fail, but it's that striker position seems cursed for us, doesn't it? You know, we signed Skamaka and it didn't work out. And all right, you can defend Skamaka and Haller a bit with the Moyes, then weren't Moyesy type players. But
even before Moyes, like it's like a curse. It's like
that's the thing. But I think Somerville will be the most successful. Really do.
He looked good in that Betway Cup game. Like when he come on, I liked what I saw of him. The way he played.
I liked him at Leeds, and I think when you look at the season he had at Leeds last season, you can see remnants of Bowen when he come to us from Hull. Do you know what I mean? Had that type of season where he was playing really well and getting goals and getting assists. So I think it'll be Somerville be the most successful one.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing him play. As I said, I watched a lot of him last season. You know, he done well for Leeds, scored a lot of goals, assists. So yeah, I think he's going to be an exciting player for us.
Husey, he says, "Great to see you back, gents. Question: would you sell Kudus for 100 million as long as we got Sola and Duran in? Bit of profit and strengthen two positions." Oh,
if it was my club and as a businessman, probably yes. But as a football fan, as a West Ham fan, I wouldn't want to see Kudus go.
no.
I just think we've got so much more to offer. And yeah, I wouldn't want to see him go. But from a business point of view, 100 million for a player is hard to turn down, especially when we sold Rice for 105.
The thing is, if we got offered 100 million, and then knowing that his release clause comes back into effect next summer for 85 million, I would lean towards yes. But I feel like Kudus is going to be a vital player this season. I think between him and Bowen, they're going to rack up goal involvements.
The thing is as well, though, Dan, you sit there and look at that, so you're going to get 100 million this summer or 85 next summer when his release clause is activated. So it's a 15 million downgrade that you could potentially get. But by keeping him this season, potentially could earn you more than that 15 million come the start of next season by qualifying for Europe. You know, this is the thing.
That's the gamble you have to make.
Yeah, modern day football, let's be honest, 15 million ain't a lot. Do you know what I mean? For us, it's a hell of a lot of money. But in terms of the way football is, 15 million is not a lot. And like you said, you keep Kudus. Kudus goes on to get you, goals and assists 15 to 20. And then like we said, you've got your Bowens who hopefully will get a similar sort of turnaround of what he had last season. Add the new signings to that, potentially you're getting into Europe with that, and the profits that come for that. It's that's how you got to look at it. That's how I look at it. He could potentially earn you that money.
Yeah. Scott the businessman. Gary Price says, "Hi Ryan, nice to see you and the lads back again on Friday. I think you're a great bunch. Where's Nick tonight? Okay. I listen to a lot of West Ham chats and I really enjoy this one."
First of all, hello Gary.
Thank you, mate.
Yeah, no, it's good to be back. Good to this is our third Friday night pint in a row since we've come back. So yeah, really enjoying it. Nicky's working tonight. He'll be working for the next few Fridays, but hopefully he'll join us again soon in the next few weeks. And yeah, there's a lot of good West Ham chats out there, and yeah, I enjoy listening to them as well, mate. But thank you for tuning in to us, and glad you enjoy us.
Nice, yeah, appreciate it, mate. Speaking of Bowen, which is a very loose transition since I've briefly mentioned him, he's been named captain of West Ham United. A bit of positive news. Very, very interesting, because I know when a few months ago, I think after we got Bowen, after Lopetegui was announced, I put out there like one of the first things he should do, Lopetegui, is make Bowen captain. And I was really surprised the reaction to that, the sort of pushback I got from a lot of fans saying, he would crumble under the pressure, or he's not captain material, he's not vocal. And that was like a lot of the feelings in the fan base. But I think if I had to pick anyone, Nick said, that's another reason in more older established players. But people were saying like, when Kilman was saying, make him captain just because he was captain at Wolves. Like, I think this is a great appointment, to be honest. I don't know about you guys.
Yeah. Look, I love Jarrod Bowen. He's a West Ham legend anyway. And I said the other week that I thought maybe Kilman might have been named captain because obviously he was captain under Lopetegui at Wolves. The The only thing that I'm worried about with Bowen is it not going to be too much pressure on him, but I know how our fans sometimes always like a scapegoat, and usually it is a captain, and I don't want that pressure put on Jared Bowen. I'd rather him just play his game than have that responsibility of being a captain. But I think I think he'd do a great job. He's got a lot of respect from the players. The fans love him. So yeah, I'm happy for him, and I think that just cements it now that he's going to be at West Ham for the rest of his career. I can't ever see him leaving the football club. He loves it, and he's already turned around and said that. So
Yeah.
what a signing he's been. David Moyes gets a lot of stick, but that was probably one of the best things he done for the club was getting Bowen in.
That was his best signing, mate. Best signing.
Yeah, I mean, since we signed Bowen, he's just gone from strength to strength, and we'll remember what he done in Prague, and that would always be forever cemented in our head. We'll never forget that moment, and to see him go on now and to maybe go on and maybe lift the trophy as captain for West Ham would just fucking sum it up for him, really. And I'm really happy for him, really pleased for him.
Yeah, right now, other than Creswell, I don't think there's anyone in this team, especially in the starting 11, that knows what it means to play for West Ham other than, Jared Bowen. And, like you said, the fact that he loves the club, he's committed his long-term future here he's got that commitment. That's the choice. Like Kilman's just got here. Yes, he was, a captain before, but he's not integrated into the club. And I think he's come a long way, Jared Bowen. And, he's just a perfect portray. He's a good professional, leads by example. I can't think of many other, like Creswell, you would have given it for one last year or whatever. But I don't think there's many other options that I can really think of players that have been here and will play week in, week out.
Yeah, I agree with
you. No, sorry, I get what you're saying. I mean, there are other captain material in the squad. I think James Ward-Prowse could have been a good captain. I think Alvarez maybe could have been a good captain.
Alvarez, yeah, that's the other one. Yeah, Ward-Prowse, I don't think will play regular in the starting 11, but Alvarez, yeah, is the other one that I would say would be the contender. It'd either be him or him. Yeah.
I think what you've both said about Bowen is on point. It's what you want from your captain. I don't see Bowen as a leader on the pitch, if I'm being honest. He doesn't seem the type, from what I see, he doesn't seem the type that gets the players going, can galvanise the team in a way you need a captain too. For me, your captain should be either a centre half or a centre midfielder.
I get what you're saying. I understand what you're saying, Scott, but I think football's changed and captains are not all like the Roy Keanes and all that, like, we're screaming and shouting. So what goes on? I didn't get that from Declan Rice. No, I didn't think Declan Rice was vocal enough, but in the changing room, it's different, So
yeah, you took the words right out of my mouth there, right? I think footballers, as you look at so many teams, right, across the Premier League, there's hardly any players that you see are like that captain that just G's everyone up, shouts at everyone, bosses people around.
No. It's not so much about that. It's just being that leader on the pitch. I don't see that.
What does that look like then if you're not telling people what's what?
No, it's just having the calm head to keep everyone in check. Do you know what I mean?
I think he's got that. I think he seems like he's got a very calm head but he's not going to be like, right, you there, you that, you getting maybe, but he might go, listen, lads, let's calm down. Let's, stay back. It's 0-0. Let's go again. I think that sees,
Yeah. Look, I don't see it. I'll be honest, I don't see it. The same thing as with Harry Kane for England. I don't think Harry Kane's a good captain for England.
So what players, all right, name all the players that you think would be that guy in the team.
Starting in the West Ham team?
Yeah, that would start. That would start regularly, like, because there's no point having someone on the bench like that's.
Oh no, of course not. You've got to be looking at Kilman, Alvarez. The problem with Alvarez is how good his English is. But again, they're the sort of players that you got to be looking. As I said, you look at Oggy. Oggy was a good leader on the pitch. You know, them type. You don't have to be a shouter, a screamer. You know, when you look back before when Matty Upson was captain, and you see Scott Parker. Scott Parker was more of a captain for West Ham than Matty Upson ever was. Do you know what I mean? Certain players have that aura about them, and I just don't see that with Bowen.
The thing is, on Kilman, I'm so against new signings coming in and being captains because I don't think it's right. I don't think it's right. You come in, you haven't, sweat in the shirt. Do you know what I mean? You haven't given anything for the shirt, and all of a sudden you're the captain of the club that the players that have been here and worked their ass off have to look to for leadership. I feel like you've got to have that, ingrained understanding of the club and of work for the club. And I hate the idea of new signers being captains.
I agree with you, what you said, Scott. I'm old-fashioned as well. I think a captain should be a centre-back or a centre midfielder. I don't get it. I hate it when goalkeepers are captain as well. Mm-hmm. I like it that a centre-back can see everything. When you've got a right winger as captain, it's difficult. But look, Bowen's got the armband. I'm sure the fans, everyone's going to get behind him. Everyone's pleased with him. I've seen a lot of hate in the chat for James Ward-Prowse, and I think when I said about Bowen maybe being a scapegoat, I think James Ward-Prowse is going to be the new scapegoat that everyone's going to sort of try to turn on now. I don't really get the hate for him because I think that he done well for us last season.
I think it's just disappointment to a degree, probably.
Yeah, I just think that
it's because he didn't score a free kick.
Yeah, he scored one before him.
Under Lopetegui, we might see a different James Ward-Prowse, but yeah, I don't really get the hate for him, to be honest.
No, not do I, mate. He brings a lot to his game. When you look at Souček, the hate that he gets, he isn't the greatest on the ball, but the guy works hard all the time. And Ward-Prowse is another one. I don't think many players covered as much ground as Ward-Prowse did.
I think he was just played out of position sometimes.
Yeah.
He's played
you look at the start that Ward-Prowse had when he first got into the side, and then for whatever reason it was, Moyes tinkered with the side, and you never saw the best of Ward-Prowse again. Do you know what I mean? The system didn't suit him, and he got played, even though he was played centre midfield, but he got stuck in so many different roles.
He played in the middle. He played a lot of games last season, and there were times where the midfield was so much space in that midfield that when you've got someone like Souček alongside you, that's not going to work. There was times at the beginning of last season when he was playing in that sort of diamond formation, he played well. So
I'll get some comments in on the captain. Oliver 58 says, "Is it good to have a captain up front rather than at the back where you can see everything?" Well, what Scott and Ryan have just said is no. And
you see more of the game as a centre half than you do as a striker.
Yeah, because everything's in front of you.
But here's the thing, I think, right, with the Bowen, with the captaincy and not being another player, right, and other players being maybe more suited or vocal. Just because Bowen has the armband doesn't mean, say, Kilman can't, go and be vocal and, G someone up or tell someone to get back, or it doesn't mean that other players on the pitch can't.
No, of course not. Dan. You have leaders on the pitch without being captain.
Yeah,
that's the thing.
I don't think Bowen's the club captain. He is the new Mr. West Ham, right? He is the
of course.
So I don't think it affects us that to a degree that, well, he's got it instead of him, because Alvarez, Kilman, if Creswell, if he does play, all of those can show leadership.
Creswell's another one. I don't see why he was ever given the captaincy. Because again, he's not a player to me that screams a captain.
Tenure, I think that's it. It's just tenure, isn't it?
But then there's, for me, there's no difference to having someone at the club who understands the club. Yeah, but that doesn't make him a captain. You could spend 15 years at the same football club, but still not be captain material.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? You could be the club captain because you represent the players well off the pitch and like that. But on the pitch, you need a leader.
Yeah. But that's what I mean. But that's what I'm saying, Scott. Is with even if they haven't got the armband, they can still be leaders.
Yeah, of course, mate. And that's what you need. If you've got players in your side that can lead and can command their areas, like a goalkeeper commands his box, a centre half commands the back line. You've got leaders in key positions. It benefits the team instead of just having one captain.
Thing is, you know it. You've played in football teams yourself. Like you always get quiet players that don't stick up for yourself, and that's where a captain comes to the front and they defend them players and they'll stick up for them and they'll speak for them. Where you'll get other players that are very vocal. And looking at that dressing room, there is going to be a mixture. And as you said, Kilman's been a captain. James Ward-Prowse has been a captain. There's a lot of experience in that dressing room. So. Yeah, you need 11 captains on the pitch, 11 leaders ideally. But yeah, at the end of the day, Bowen walks the team out on match days and he gets to lift the trophy if we win it, as long as he's playing, of course, if he's fit.
Yeah. And sometimes you do rise to it as well. You're given something and knowing the responsibility, you can rise to that role.
You see when he posted the Instagram post yesterday and a lot of players that ain't even at the club, Pablo Fornals for one, was saying congratulations, Skipper. Even Declan Rice commented on it, which is good to see. I know that obviously Declan Rice obviously gets a lot of hate, but he's still got that connection with the club and especially Jared Bowen because they're England teammates as well. So it's nice to see and good luck to Bowen. Looking forward to it.
I'm fully behind him. I'm not saying I'm not going to support him as captain, fully supporting him as captain, but it's just my opinion.
Good choice, but don't see him as a player to give the rest a kick up the arse unless Danny coming in at half time. That's it, mate. Danny Dyer, the package. I think this is on what I was saying about new signers being the captain. Captain needs to be earned, agreed on.
Yeah, someone did make a good point earlier where they said Kevin Nolan come in and was named captain straight away.
Yeah.
But then again, that was a different era. We was all over the place at the time.
He was in the Championship and he was dropping down to from the Prem. Yeah, I think that was definitely a special case, and he turned out to be an excellent captain.
We're actually interviewing him at the Brewdog in a few weeks, so we can ask him that question and find out what he thought of being named captain of West Ham.
Yeah, and how maybe some of the other players took it. When he was named captain and he hasn't played and kicked a ball for the club. So that'd be interesting. Understand doubts about Bowen. So yeah, a few people. Oggie's a good locker room leader. Bowen gives 100%. That's what players want to see. Nick says, agree, Scott. Too young, too soft.
I need to say something for Nick to agree with me. He hasn't agreed with me yet.
Agree with Dan.
On, Nick.
You're doing something wrong there, right? You're doing something right.
This ain't right.
James Ward-Prowse had a good first half and a rather poor second. Don't hate the guy. We got a super chat. I'll let one of you read this out.
I think I heard one of you fart. For £2, it wasn't me, but I'll take it for £2.
I didn't even hear anything. It's probably these chairs I'm sitting on. So
someone like that.
All right, there we go. Well, those chairs earned us the £2 super chat. So keep it up, Scott.
It's worth it. It's worth buying them.
Yeah. He says no, thumbs down because you're talking about Rice now, so you don't get an agreement out of Nick Rice.
He loves Declan Rice, really. He's got a big canvas on his wall in his front room of Declan Rice.
But yeah, I mean, in other news, I don't have a flashy transition for this, but Mubama signing for Man City. Now, this shocked a lot of West Ham fans, including myself, who, he didn't sign a new deal with the club, didn't get the opportunities. But when we did see him, we didn't really get to see a lot of the promise that we'd seen from the youth team. And I was very surprised to see he's going for some Man City because I just don't think he's anywhere near that level.
This wasn't an overnight thing, and it makes sense now why he didn't want to sign for West Ham. If Man City are coming in whether you play or not, you know you're going to be earning a good amount of money. He's obviously gone now. He'll be loaned out. He'll probably never play for the first team. And it's a strange move, but look, his agents obviously work wonders. He's probably got a good deal. And look, when Man City come calling, whether you're going to start from or not, it's a good move for him personally.
It's a good move for his bank balance. That's it.
Yeah, but maybe to get out. Yeah, but he's still young. He can go and sit there for 3-4 years, earn a lot of money, then go and play lower leagues or whatever. But it's not the right thing. But it makes sense now why he never signed that contract with West Ham.
Yeah, the same thing happened last year. We released Jamal Baptiste, and he went and signed for City and then got released. So, Mbama's not Manchester City quality. We never saw... It's tough because when he did get an opportunity, it wasn't always the right time for him to play. He was playing in a side that wasn't playing particularly too well. And Moyes didn't give him a go when he should have been given a go. It was Moyes only played him because Moyes was forced to play him, and that has an effect on players. And what you saw for the step up from the under 21s or under 23s, whatever it was, to the Premier League is a big difference. Unless you're a special talent, and especially in the striker position, it's a lot harder. And I think it's a move like you said, mate. It earns money. I don't get why City have done it. Maybe it increases their homegrown quota, whatever they've got around.
Yeah, that's what they've done it for. That's what they've done it for. That's why they've still got Scott Carson on the books.
Yeah.
It's
interesting because... Go on, Scott. Sorry.
No, I'm just saying, good luck to him. If that's what he wants, then it's fine. Let's be honest, he weren't guaranteed to play for us. So that's the thing. Because do you see him getting in front of anyone else in the starting 11, striker wise?
No.
This is it. But we've got George Murphy, who I think has shown more promise, in the short time that he's played than Mbama did.
Just talking about George Murphy, did you see the announcement video that Bristol City done for him?
Yeah.
It's brilliant. You've got to see it.
I'll have a look at that.
But, it was funny though. That was like a few days ago, right? It was like earlier in the week, and Nicky posted today, George Murphy signed for Bristol. It's like, yeah, mate, where you been?
I think that's a good move for him because, like you said, that what you see of that kid when he come into the first team, potentially there's a lot more we're going to get out of him than what we would have got out of Mbama. And that's no disrespect to Mbama. It's just Murphy just suited the system when he come in, and I think going to Bristol City is a good move for him. Callum Marshall going to Huddersfield, great move for him as well, especially as they're going to get game time.
I think the thing is with Murphy, he definitely needs to experience that physicality more. I think he could probably do with bulking up a bit as well, putting on not Antonio level bulking up, but just putting a little bit of size on because he's quite slight. But yeah, I think we've got a good player there. What I don't want to see is because the loan system hasn't been very successful for us in recent times. Like, I can't remember the last player that we sent out on loan and came back to be, a top player for us, or to be a regular.
No, but also, Dan, you've got to remember they've not been given a chance.
Yeah,
this is the thing. Let's not look, as much as Moyes gave Mbama a start, he gave Murphy an opportunity. He wasn't forthcoming with the youngsters. And look, I'm not saying that every single youngster that plays well at the under 21, under 23 level is going to come into the first team and be brilliant. We know that's not, unless you're something special, that doesn't happen. And it's about getting an opportunity to break into that first team. So when you send a player out on loan, if he goes and has a fantastic season out on loan, and then he comes back and he's not going to get in the side and he's not going to get picked, and that you see why they get let go. You look at Flynn Downs. Flynn Downs was probably player of the season for Southampton last season, but weren't going to get given a fair crack at the whip again, so he's gone to Southampton. So you can't. Saying that it doesn't work out, if the players are not going to be given the opportunity, then what's the point? When you look at it, and the other flip side of it is you look at the players that we've had that people have gone, he should be playing, and then they've just disappeared off the face of the planet. and not cut it in the first teams in lower leagues. I think the progression of players, they need to. You look at Potts. Potts went to Wickham, player of the season. I think Kudus went to Kudus. Is it Kudus or Kudus? Kudus went to Wickham end of last season, played really well in the half of the season that he was there. Potts in pre-season has looked really good, but maybe this ain't his opportunity. So loan him out to a championship side, build the progression through the lower leagues, so that they can then when you look at what you've signed with Bowen and hopefully now with Somerville. With Somerville, okay, he's got Premier League experience, but give him that opportunity in the Championship where they're going to play football, and then you'll know whether they can fit in. Downs, I think, as I said, weren't given a fair crack at the whip under Moyes. Lopetegui's has obviously had his sights on other players. That's why Downs gone out. But just giving them players that chance to go from League Two, League One, Championship, especially if we're loaning them out, you get to that stage like we had with Josh Cullen. It was had a good season plan on loan that season, come in, looked okay, but wasn't going to get picked over Alvarez when we brought him in. I think it weren't Alvarez, was it? Who did we have then? It would have been Souček, Rice, and Nobes, I think. He ain't going to get in. So he got given his opportunity. He got back to the Premier League. Okay, he didn't cut it that well with Burnley, but that's one of the things. But you've got to give him that chance. But you've also got to open the door to them to step into the first team if the loan spells are successful. And I don't think we do that enough.
Scott's still waiting for Diego Poyet to come back off loan.
Yeah, exactly.
I agree, Scott. It's very hard for a youngster to break into a first team, especially in the Premier League in these days. And I think the Championship is a very good league. There's some big clubs in that Championship. It's a tough league. And when players drop down there, they learn their trade in that, even League One and League Two. So, yeah, I'm hoping that the players go out on loan. With Potts not going out, I think he might be part of Lopetegui's plans maybe for the season. He might go out on loan later in the window. I don't know. But, yeah.
Agree.
And this is also a good point. Sorry, go on.
Well, I'll get to that afterwards because obviously
this is a good point. Where they don't have reserve team football anymore. Reserve team football was an opportunity for youngsters to bed in and around the fringe players, the players coming back from injury, stuff like that. Modern day footballers we don't have reserves. You'll be lucky to see a player that picks up an injury and goes to play for the under 23s to get yourself fit again. They don't want to do that anymore. It's first team or nothing. And I think in a way it's the reason why a lot of players that don't get opportunities or are fringe players never then make it at a football club and have to be sold off because they're not playing regularly. They're not, reserve team football might not be in the intensity that you've got in the Premier League, but it still gave them game time, match fitness, match sharpness, which when you look at someone like Kalvin Phillips, when he come into the side last season, if he was playing regularly for a reserve side in a competitive-ish league, he ain't coming in cold. He's coming into a season, bit of sharpness about him, bit of, he's up to the pace, so to speak. Training gets you up to certain levels, but match fitness.
You can't beat match day experience and game time. But like Matt's just said there, didn't Frank Lampard have a loan spell? Yeah, he went on loan to Swansea. Rio Ferdinand went to Bournemouth. Jermaine Defoe went to Bournemouth. David Beckham went to Preston. Back in them days, these players did get it. Noble went to Hull and Ipswich. So these players do go out on loan and it can help them. And we've had a history of that, as you said there. Like I remember when Frank Lampard went to Swansea and he grew up, dropping down. Rio done the same. Jermaine Defoe broke, I'm sure, did he equal or break Pele's goal scoring record, like consecutive games when he went on loan to Bournemouth? So it can be a blessing. But then sometimes, as Scott said, they go out on loan and you just never see them again in a West Ham shirt.
Yeah. Colin says, what do you boys think here in Somerville does not count as a homegrown player? I read that he does count as a homegrown player because he came through Leeds Academy as a youngster. So even though he's Dutch, he counts as an homegrown player because of that reason. And that's what I read. I don't know if that's been contradicted, but I think that.
I sort of heard the same thing. So yeah, maybe maybe look into that a bit more.
Yeah, because he did come through the academy, so yeah, I'm pretty sure he is. Guys, can I ask your opinion? What happened to Nicky at the ground, and will he be able to take his camera gear? For those who don't know, Nicky did the video on the concessions thing at the Betway up, and they wouldn't let him take his camera gear onto the club, onto the stadium premises. So yeah, I think it was because of the concessions thing, the protest. I don't think they wanted any coverage of it. I think maybe that was.
I think he had the tripod on him as well, didn't he? And they thought he was like media, and he didn't have a media pass or something like that. But yeah, look, it's not a great look from the club, but that's what it's becoming now. That's what it's becoming over that football club. Like Nicky wasn't even allowed to take a picture on his camera phone on his phone of the new third shirt that he wanted to send to his son to show him. He got surrounded by people in the club shop and security and chucked out. You know. And I said to him, he rang me up when it happened. And I said to him, it's because they've followed you. They've followed you from the security thing, kept an eye on you. As soon as they've seen you get your phone out, they're just around you. It's what it's becoming now, the football club. It's going to be very interesting next season to see that when we go to film where we regularly film fan cams, whether there's going to be stewards there, whether there's going to be security there ready to say, look, you can't film. So it'll be interesting. Bring it on, Brady. Bring it on.
Yeah.
I'll have to look into see if they can actually officially stop us.
They can now. If we go past the security tent, they can't.
Yeah, but the problem is the LLDC security guards will stop you like they did to me when I went there the other day to film.
Yeah, again, it needs to be checked out.
Miss Amoret says, ask us anything right. What's it saying in your light box? Being a nosy bitch.
It just says West Ham Fan TV, # come on you irons.
Now you know. Yeah.
You know what I might do? I might start changing it every week and put something random on there to see if people notice. And the first one that notices wins a prize. I don't know what I'm going to give away. I'll give away this empty San Miguel can.
That's a great prize.
Or a bottle of tequila. I've got a bottle of tequila up there from Mexico that Nicky got me. So
there you go. This is a good question. We get to the end. Gents, apart from Solar, who else do you think will bring in, and what's your expectations for the season?
I'd like to see us bring in another striker.
Do you think we'll bring in Duran? Do you think we'll get him?
Maybe that might be something that might go down to deadline day. You know, I know that, and I said this the other week, nothing was going to get done before the game tomorrow.
Yeah, definitely.
But I know, like, other people said, world exclusive breaking news that it was a done deal and that. And it might still be. It might be something that can't be done until after the game. I don't know. But I'd like to see Duran come in. You know, he's got a lot of potential. You know, there's rumours about what's his name from Arsenal, Nketiah as well. He's another player. You know, out of Duran and Nketiah, I'd rather have Duran. But yeah, I mean, I think we're pretty okay at the back. Maybe another left back, but then you got left back. You got Emerson, Creswell, Scholes.
Again, could
centre backs. We're sort of covered. You got Mavropanos, Kilman,
do you know what though? Right, I'd go for someone like Chalobah at Chelsea.
Yeah,
the guy being frozen out of the first team. He's training with the reserves. He's a decent player. Very much reminds me of Zuma, but can actually run and is a lot younger. You know, I think he'd be a decent signing to get in one for the future as well. Even Chilwell to an extent. Yeah, I know he's got his injury problems, but Chilwell's going to be available.
That injury problems. Yeah, that's the problem.
That's the sticking point on that. But you know, there are two players that Chelsea want to get out the door that I think would do well for us.
Chilwell on loan, yeah, maybe. But
I'd like to see us go and get and bring back to the club Pablo Fornals because I love him.
Yes, bring him back.
Bring him back. He needs to come back. Bring back Pablo.
Yeah.
I like Pablo, but again, he doesn't fit into the new system. So
he can play anywhere he wants, Scott. Anywhere he wants.
Villa are favourites to get Chalobah. That's because they're doing little dodgy deals with Chelsea, allegedly, whatever.
Yeah. But honestly, I think I'm surprised that we haven't got him for him. He's a good player, very good player.
Villa paid, didn't they buy a left back off of Chelsea for about 40 odd million pounds?
Was it Matheson, something like that? He was only young. Like I think he only had a few first team games, and they paid silly money for him. And then didn't Chelsea buy one of the youngsters for silly money?
Yeah, I'll tell you what though. I'll tell you what. Fucking at the end of the show, how buzzing are you for football to be back?
It's going to be
big
good,
time,
It's
man. Big time. Especially, it's exciting. It really is.
Looking forward to watching the game tomorrow. Obviously, I'm not there, but I'll be watching. But yeah, no, I'm looking forward to it. Said the other day 2-1. I'm going to stick with that. I think it could be. It's going to be a tight game. I think. Look, Aston Villa are no mugs, but I'm hoping Villa haven't got a good record against us. Especially at home. I think they've only beat us once in the last 9 at home. So I think the last time they beat us was under Martin O'Neill when we played them at the Bowen. So it's been a long time. So yeah, it's going to be a good game. I'm looking forward to it. It's the battle with the Claret and Blues tomorrow. So yeah,
it's going to be. I think it's going to be an entertaining game for the neutral. I think it's just the atmosphere is going to be incredible. It's exciting, like going into a new season with a new manager and all these new signings through the door before the first game. You know, it is the most excited I've been going into a West Ham game in a long time. Like, you know what I mean, especially into this new season, I should say.
This new era is it is exciting. You know, the signings seem. We've made a lot of signings in the season before, and they all didn't come together. But these ones seem the right signings to fit the right model. So I'm looking forward to this. Look, it's going to be interesting. I think if the result doesn't go our way, don't everyone jump on the negative bandwagon. Do you know what I mean? Let's have a couple of games. If we see progression in the way we're playing and the way we're performing and we're creating chances and we're just not taking them chances, let's have a little bit of calmness and not just straight away jump on the negative.
If like obviously me and Scott spoke about it on the preview, but Dan, Soufal or Wan-Bissaka, who would you start?
Yeah. Do you know when I was editing the preview, I was like talking, I was shouting at the screen. I was like, Ryan's lineup. Like, give me Ryan's lineup, not conservative Scott's. Wan-Bissaka. I know what I agree with your reasons, Scott. I understand your reasons, Scott. But I think Wan-Bissaka, not just because he's the shiny new player and he's better than Soufal, but I think he's going to be a better matchup for a team like Villa with the threats that they have on the wing and what he can do. So that's why I think Alvarez in there. But not Alvarez. I'm thinking of when Ryan sent me the 2 lineups because he forgot.
I think that we might see. I think that we might see Souček alongside Rodriguez tomorrow, starting. I know, and it's not the team I want, but thinking how Lopetegui's going to think. I mean, look, I maybe could see him doing that, but
Ward-Prowse just feels the more natural. I would obviously Ward-Prowse.
Yeah. The thing is, as well, is when you look at that, you look at they've got rid of Douglas Luiz. Is McGinn's back, I think, for them now, isn't he? And they've got Onana.
I hate that guy. I'm sorry.
Dan, he's one of them players that when he plays for you, you love him. When he plays for somebody else, you can't stand him. He's another.
Him and Garnacho are probably my two most hated players right now.
But that's the thing, you know. You got to look what Onana brings for them as well. You know, he is a threat in that midfield, driving forward. He's an aerial threat as well. So
they've got Tillemans as well.
Yeah,
you know, who makes the runs. Villa are a good team. Like I'm not underestimating them at all. Like they're a difficult team, and if we can get a win over them tomorrow, it'll be a great start to the season. You know,
it's probably has to start too. I think and none of our defenders really have earned it.
Debo and Kilman, you need to get their partnership going early. Emerson, we know what we get from him. It'll be up and down. Paquetá, just give him that little free roll in the middle. Let him pick out Kudus, Bowen, and then obviously, who's he going to start up top? Is he going to be Antonio? Is he going to be Fulkrug? I want to see Fulkrug, but I can understand Scott's reasons the other night. Antonio has looked sharp in pre-season, so maybe he might start with him and then bring Fulkrug on.
Yeah, he just needs to, if he does bring Fulkrug on, he needs to give him enough time to grow into the game and not bring him on at the 80-something minute. Do you know what I mean?
If I turn on that lineup tomorrow and I see Soufal, Souček, Ward-Prowse and Danny Ings up front, it's Lopetegui out.
Yeah. I would love to see Ings score a winner, though, just to shove it back in Villa's face, because they love that they had one over us on that sale. But
I'll be honest, as much as I want to see, that'd be good for Ings to do that, but I don't think we'll see Zuma, Ings and Cornet at all, because I don't think they'll want to risk him getting injured.
Or do you want to put them in the shop window, though, by giving them some... Man United just scored the jammy pieces of shit.
When you say the shop window, do you mean the club shop window?
Yeah. But don't take any pictures of them, because it's not allowed. But yeah, so yeah.
Is that
good to see everyone. Miss Amoret asked about watch along tomorrow. Jace told me he's doing one. He did tell me.
I'll tell you what, Ben. You can pass this message on for me. Jace is looking really well, mate. I've been seeing his weight loss journey. He's doing great. He's doing really well, mate. So
a couple of stone.
Yeah, pass on the best wishes, mate. He's doing really well.
Yeah, so hopefully he keeps that up. And hopefully he has a good time on the watch along tomorrow and there's lots of celebrations. That's what I bloody hope. Scott, Nick says you're in front of me. What? Is he? Why is Nick be?
No, I think Nick's saying about the Manchester United just scoring.
Oh, I've just spoiled it. Oh, sorry.
Yeah.
I was like, wait, no, you sit in front of me, Nick. What are you talking about?
Who's that? Zerky scored from 87th minute.
New signing.
He's the new signing.
Oh, right.
But Fulham had like so many good chances on the counter-attack. They had this clear chance and he just made the shittest pass ever. So jammy, Man United.
It's a typical Man United opening day game, isn't it?
Yeah. I was watching the reaction that I did. I was looking for clips and stuff for our YouTube today, and I was watching the one with Nick after we beat Man United, and he's like, "You boys took a hell of a beating." It's like, thanks, you watching Rooney. Yeah, it was brilliant.
We've made some good results against Man United at home in the last few years, haven't we? That's one team that I love to beat. I know they're not the great Man United that we grew up watching, but Man United for me are still a massive football club. And whenever we beat them, I feel like it's a big, big win. Like last season when we beat them, it was around Christmas time, wasn't it, when we beat them? Yeah. 2-0 at home. But we just need to get a win at Old Trafford. We always seem to play well and lose last minute winners.
This is the problem. They're just so jammy there. Like
they've been jammy for the last few years. How they've finished as high up on the table with that.
They are.
I remember that game when me and Nicky went, and it was like we done really well, and I thought, we're going to get out of here 0-0, and then Rashford scored in like the 94th minute, and it went down to VAR, and it went in their way, and I was just like, fuck, you know.
Hang on, right, there's a shot VAR going the way of Manchester United.
Oh,
imagine that, eh?
I have seen us win there a couple of times, so you know Tevez and Di Canio. So
I haven't gone back since we lost 4-0. Nicky lost the MacBook and our ticket. I haven't been back since.
That was the opening day of the season. I remember that. I was in Las Vegas chilling around the pool, And Nicky's trying to ring me. Nicky's trying to ring me. I'm like, mate, I'm chilling out in Vegas. Like, don't argue with me. I don't nothing to do with me, mate.
Right,
because
that's the thing, man. You're unlucky,
mad.
mate. Our last trip to Old Trafford was when Tevez scored and we stayed up.
You should have kept going then, shouldn't you? Should have kept going. So you might have been
that was mad. Like, I remember that because I went to a pub in Vegas. It was like an old British pub at 7:00 in the morning watching the game. I come out there, it was like 9:30, and I was pissed. And I thought, fucking, I've got the whole day ahead of me now. Like, I can just go lay around the pool.
Jesus, yeah, honestly. But yeah, hopefully, like this season. You guys, I agree. Some of our predictions, actually, someone mentioned in the chat. I agree with both of your predictions. You said 2-1, right? Both of you went 2-1 West Ham. Yeah, I went for that as well. I'm going for 2-1 West Ham. I feel it like when it just jumps out in your mind and you think and just bang, it's there 2-1. Hopefully that's like a premonition or something, and we've all said it, so manifest it.
I just see a really tight game. I can see them scoring as well. And yeah, I just hope we get the win. If we get a draw tomorrow, it's not the worst result in the world. Even if we lose, we're still 3 points off top.
Yeah.
Positive thinking.
Yes.
That is true, mate. That is true. That's how
Can't wait. Listen, let's hurry up and go to bed so we can wake up on match day. That's what I say. It's been a good show, lads. Good to have you back on, Scott, with us. Yeah. And tomorrow, like I said, we'll have all the contents tomorrow. We're going to have the fan cams. Should they not chuck us off the land? We should have the fan cams.
I don't think they will, mate. I don't think.
No. Post-match pint, all of that stuff, watch-alongs, all the good bits and pieces. So thank you all for watching. One thing left to say: come on, you Irons.
Come on, you Irons.
Come on, you Irons.